Hi guys, welcome back to Visits with Soxy and Anna Alice. I'm Alice, your yarn host today. Today is not a regular podcast. I'm not going to get into all my whips and FOs, which I don't have, and what have you. I want to update you on a bit of a DIY project that I have gone ahead and revamped. It's my Swift, my yarn Swift. So what I have back about a year and a half ago, back in the beginning of my podcasting days, I did a DIY project because to me, necessity is the mother of invention. And to get myself a yarn Swift to cake up these beautiful skeins of wool, and also just to cake up regular balls of wool, I had to come up with something that I could make and use to do that. So I'm going to go through. I'll put down below in the description below, I will put the link to the original, and then you can see how I made it, and then now you can see how I have revamped it, okay? So periodically throughout this little video, I will be cutting away to photographs and to little other snippets of video. I'm going to do a bit of voiceovering, I'm hoping, so my editing is going to be challenged today, and I hope you enjoy this bit of a video. To start with, I just wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers for coming back and visiting me and giving me thumbs ups. Thank you so much to all the newbies that are new subscribers, and I'll have a regular podcast next Tuesday uploaded for everybody, updating you all on my life and my yarny journeys. So to start off with, I just wanted to say that I do have a very, very inexpensive ball winder, which is a Loops and Thread, which I got from Michaels. I had a coupon for, I believe at the time it was 50% off. So I picked this up for 25 Canadian dollars in my local Michaels. This is what I use to wind up my cakes. It works just fine. Some days it likes to choke the wool, some days it doesn't, but a little patience goes a long way. So now I will insert a few pictures of my old ball winder, or not winder, sorry, my old Swift that I made, and I will put them in right here. Okay, so I am also, so now I've gone ahead and I took this all apart. I took it apart, and I will put pictures in here of what it looked like before when I took it apart. I put in 6 of the coat hangers now. I had to break a couple of the hooks off of it, and I used a ton of glue, and I glued that puppy into that cup really well. And I glued the top, and now I have 6. And it's actually much more balanced, which works out a lot better. I tell you why I did this. I want to skein up some minis from my leftovers for an Advent swap that I'm doing this Christmas, and I wanted them to look a little nicer than just wrapping them around a book or balling them up. I wanted them to look like little skeins. So I've gone ahead and revamped this. So now I did use the twist ties to hold it together while I was fighting with them to get them all together. I used a ton and a half of glue. Glue guns are a girl's best friend when it comes to DIY projects. I'm sure you know that. And I just put it back into a regular paper cup, and I glued it in there really good. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and find a way to use this on something other than that beautiful Lazy Susan that you saw in the beginning, a little bit of a clip. I'll put the clip in here again if you missed it. And yeah, so as you can see, this is my little sewing area. So this is where I used this little turntable / Lazy Susan that I got from my daughter. And every time I want to ball up some yarn, I have to shove everything off of this thing and repurpose it as a yarn Swift. So I thought it'd be just easier to make one of its own so that I can use it separate. So as you can see, this from the little clip, that's where I do all my sewing. And the little Lazy Susan or turntable, whatever you want to call it, that's a Wilton's, and it's pretty pricey. Still, I mean, I just happened to get one because my daughter gave it to me, so I thought that would be perfect for using this. And as you can see in the old video, that's what I used to for it to spin around while I wound up the ball. So now I've come up with another idea. I don't know where I saw this, whether it was on Pinterest or a video for something else. It just popped into my head one day. And what you're going to use, what you're going to need for this now, I'm going to try it. So you're going to come on the adventure with me because I haven't done this yet. So I picked up 2 sizes from the Dollarama. So they cost me $1.50 for 3. And this one I think was $2 for two. Yeah, so $1 a piece. These are pie plates. Now, I'm going to try, I'm thinking, I'm going to put, let's see how this will fit like this. See, I think that the small one, I think the small one will work best. Boy, I got this thing in my face here. I think the small one will work best, but if not, I do have the larger one that I can try it. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how this works up. So what you need is some pie plates, and in my drawer here, where's my drawer? This one, okay. I didn't buy them at the dollar store, but you could, okay, or any of the toy stores or your local store of any kind, is marbles. Because the turntable typically is set on ball bearings. So we could use marbles. Now these marbles are very old. They were in my mom and my grandma's stuff. We used to play Chinese checkers with these little marbles. And there's all kinds in here. So, and I even have, look at this. I even have a clear peewee. And here's a real marble. So yeah, so grab a bag of marbles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away now, and I'm going to actually do this project, and then I will do voiceover at the same time, I'm hoping. Okay, so hang in there. It'll be just a second for you, and we'll pop into the actual creation of this. Okay, cool. First off, let's take apart the paper plates. There's 3 here. We only need 2. So I'll remove the tape and just grab the 2 paper plates that we need. Grab the paper cup. I got a spare paper cup. It's good to have the paper cup separate from the one that the coat hangers are in, and then you can take it all apart. It makes it easier to take apart, to store, to move around. Now, as you can see, I grabbed my glue gun, heated that up, and I'm going to put a whole bunch of glue on this paper cup because I don't want it to come loose at all. It needs to be totally secured to that paper plate. Or sorry, not paper plate, to that, hey, I could probably use paper plates instead of aluminum. Wow, that's a concept too. I'm going to have to think about that. So I went ahead and I really glued this down very good. And I don't know if there's paper plates that are deep enough though for this. So I guess the tin foil, that's why I used them, why I thought of the pie plates. So, put lots of glue in there, and I can never seem to get the glue gun going here. I hate this glue gun. My old glue gun broke. Goodness. Okay, get some more on there. Whole bunches of glue. Do not be cheap with the glue on this project because you want it to hold up. I'm trying to do it there so that you can actually see me doing the gluing, but I know you guys know what to do. And there you have it. Have a really good bead of glue around that to keep it secured. Okay. Put that aside. And now, make sure it's good and solid on there. Now, let's put a whole bunch of these marbles into the pan. And it's going to spin on there. Look at that. It works already. I can tell it's going to probably work pretty good. But then I found that some of them were larger marbles. So I pull the larger marbles out. And then I end up throwing them all in there and then just pulling out ones that are too big so that it doesn't, so it sits a lot flatter. You want to get it kind of even because you don't want it to be too wobbly. So keeping the marbles all the same size is a good idea. Put a little extras in there. And there we have it. We're almost ready for testing. Oh, pick a bunch more up. There we go. Okay. There we go. Looks like it's just about ready to go. And put it on this coat hanger portion, and there it goes. It's going to actually spin around and around. So pretty happy with that at this point. There we go. It's going to work. I think it's going to work. Okay. Now you see, I pulled it over to the other table. This is the table I usually work on, but I usually spread out my Swift and my ball winder a little further apart. So you'll see in this little snippet here that it's a little harder to wind the ball when the ball winder is too close to the Swift. It makes the ball for me anyways, for this setup, it makes the ball really, really tight and hard on it. So it's not a good idea to have it too close. This is just for the sake of this video to show you that yes, it's working. And see, it's kind of bobbing around there. I think what I'm going to do is put some weights in there. I'll talk about that later. But it's working and it's just rocking. I end up losing a marble in a second. You'll see it pop out. But yeah, it's working. So it didn't choke until almost the end. Choking means that the actual wool, as it's winding, will actually just wind at the very, very top or at the very, very inside. And that's called choking the yarn, which gives it a little bit of a pain in the butt. I don't know how else to name it. If you see it, when it happens, it kind of is annoying, but you can still work with your cake of yarn. It's not a problem. Sometimes I'll rewind the entire skein or the entire ball again separately off of the Swift, but that's only me just being fussy. And as you can see, it's just rocking there. It's working really well. And see, the clothes pegs are working pretty good too. And actually, I didn't fuss with this skein of yarn very much, so it did end up getting caught a little bit. And yeah, it was. Oh, there I go. I'm going to go get that marble that decided it was going to go rogue and fly out of the pan. And there you see, I got it there. And I'm really happy that I got rid of the volume on this because that sucker's really, really loud. So I'll explain that in the at the end of the clip here. So yeah, I just headed on through and a couple of little hiccups. See, there you go. I'm pulling off the portion where it choked. See how that ends up being kind of like a bit of a yarn barf off the top of the ball of wool or the cake of wool, but I just sort it out. And like I said, I have a lot of patience for this kind of stuff, and I don't mind taking my time, and I enjoy playing with the wool and playing with the yarn, and this is all part of the craft for me. I really do enjoy doing this kind of thing. I even enjoy balling my yarn by hand. Yeah, see, I'm not very happy, but it's okay. That's about it. Okay, thank you. Okay, there we go, guys. Okay, so I put it all together, wound up a ball of wool. Oh, by the way, I'll tell you what this is. This is a ball of wool that I won from Knits and Pieces podcast out in Sarnia. The colorway is Ancient Copper, and it's by Richard DeVries. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but this is the ball band. Beautiful, beautiful DK. Oh, yes, DK weight, 100% merino. It's got some gorgeous coppers in there and burgundies, maroons. Very beautiful ball of wool. And those will probably be socks for myself. Oh, no, I was going to make a cowl. That's right. There's a cowl pattern that I got for free with this. So I'll be making that up. Okay, so what I wanted to do was explain a couple of things I'm going to tweak about my little Swift here. Number one, there's these on your coat hanger, you've got these little clippy things that are for, I guess, holding up straps and what have you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these off because every single one of them, it seems caught. So you can just snap them off. So that's just one less interference with trying to wind your wool on your Swift. Some of you have asked me, I've had people ask in the past why I use clothes pegs. Well, I'm going to put in a picture right here to show you why the clothes pegs work really well. What happens is the wool sits in here, yes, but it will slide and bounce around. You want to make sure it doesn't flick over the top, catch on anything else, and it actually helps to keep everything in line. So I put like one or two on each, one for sure on each, the bottom, so it doesn't slide off the bottom. And then every so often I put one at the top so that it doesn't travel up. And as you get less and less yarn on the winder, and as you're winding up your ball, this will become messy. So you have to take your time, make sure you've got everything still straight as you're going along. And I'm telling you, this little contraption works, but it's really noisy. So if you live in an apartment, maybe not a good idea. Very, very noisy here, just to give you an idea, if I can get this going. Here, don't know if you can hear this. Oh, I got my... You hear that? Pretty noisy, right? What I am going to do as well is I am going to I'm going to go head out to the garage, see if I can find some washers, some heavy washers or some bolts, and I'm going to glue gun them down so that this actually stays weighted, because as you could see, I had one or two of these little marbles like take off, which means, you know, it was going fast enough that it was propelling, moving this quite a bit, quite quickly, that it was the marbles escaped. So instead of escaping marbles, we're going to put some weights on here, glue gun them down, and that'll hold this in and might reduce a bit of the noise. I thought afterwards too, what I could do is I could have put a piece of felt on the bottom here and a piece of felt on the bottom of the other pie plate, and that would reduce the noise considerably as well. So I might do that too. So I hope you enjoyed this part 2 of the DIY make your own yarn Swift. Sorry. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this little do-it-yourself, and like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll be back next week for a full episode. Thanks and have a great day. Bye now.